Hello, my friend. Today's story will not only teach you English, but also inspire you to keep going. In every story, there's a word to learn, and a feeling to remember. So stay with me, and if you find this story helpful, don't forget to like, share, or hit that little subscribe button. It really helps this channel grow, just like you're growing every day. Now, take a deep breath, and let's step into today's story, one small moment, one big lesson. Imagine this, a man who predicted the future, not just for a few years ahead, but for an entire century. A man who foresaw the course of history, technological advances, and the challenges humanity would face. His name was Nikola Tesla, and he wasn't just a fortune teller or a random dreamer, he was a visionary who truly understood the world. Born in 1856 in a small village in what is now Croatia, Tesla's early years were not marked by fame or fortune. His family was not wealthy, but he had an insatiable curiosity and a brilliant mind. From a young age, Tesla showed signs of genius. He would often lose himself in his thoughts, imagining inventions that could change the world. Unlike most children, he didn't play with toys or games, he was more interested in how things worked, often taking apart machines and reassembling them to understand their function. As he grew older, Tesla's thirst for knowledge deepened. He attended universities in Europe, studying electrical engineering, but it was clear that his imagination extended far beyond the standard curriculum. Tesla wasn't interested in simply following existing ideas, he wanted to create new ones. And so, by the time he moved to America in 1884, he had already begun to develop the groundbreaking ideas that would change the world forever. In the early days of his career, Tesla worked for Thomas Edison, the famous inventor. However, Tesla quickly realized that his vision for the future was different from Edison's. While Edison focused on direct current, DC, electricity, Tesla believed in alternating current, AC, which he felt was a much more efficient way to transmit power over long distances. He famously disagreed with Edison's ideas and left his job to pursue his own inventions. Tesla's first major prediction, however, came long before the world was ready to understand it. He said, "One day, people will be able to send messages, images, and even voice from one place to another, wirelessly." In the late 19th century, this sounded completely insane. How could anyone communicate over long distances without wires? The technology of the time was far from capable of such feats. But Tesla wasn't just imagining the future, he was observing the direction in which technology was headed. He understood that the world was on the cusp of something big, something revolutionary. His prediction of wireless communication wasn't based on wishful thinking. It was based on a deep understanding of the laws of physics and his own pioneering work with electricity. This leads us to Tesla's greatest and most ambitious prediction. He said, "The day will come when people will be able to communicate without speaking, sharing their thoughts instantly, no matter where they are." At the time, this was nothing more than a dream, an idea that seemed too far-fetched to ever become reality. People could barely imagine the possibility of wireless communication, let alone the instant sharing of thoughts. Yet, as you will see in the following chapters, this dream didn't remain in the realm of fantasy for long. Tesla's predictions, which seemed so absurd to many at the time, were the beginning of a technological revolution that would forever change how we live, work, and communicate. You continue reading, eager to find out what happens next. Tesla's journey from brilliant inventor to misunderstood genius is one of incredible perseverance. Despite facing countless challenges, setbacks, and even financial struggles, his mind never stopped imagining a future where technology would free humanity from limitations. One of Tesla's most famous achievements was his invention of the alternating current, AC, system. But while his ideas were revolutionary, they were also deeply controversial. The battle between Tesla and Edison, known as the War of Currents, became a public spectacle. Edison, with his powerful influence and financial backing, promoted direct current, DC, electricity, while Tesla, armed with his ideas and a passion for efficiency, stood firmly behind AC. In the early 1880s, it became clear that AC was the better option for transmitting electricity over long distances. DC could only work efficiently over short distances, which meant cities and towns would need to build power stations every few blocks to keep the lights on. But AC, with its ability to travel long distances with minimal energy loss, was the key to powering entire cities and regions. However, Edison, fearing the potential of losing his business to Tesla's more efficient system, resorted to aggressive tactics to discredit AC. He even went as far as to publicly demonstrate the dangers of AC by electrocuting animals, including a horse, in an effort to show that it was too dangerous for public use. His campaign against Tesla's AC system reached new heights of cruelty and misinformation, but it couldn't stop the inevitable. Tesla's ideas eventually gained widespread acceptance. In 1893, the World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago became a turning point. Tesla and his partner, George Westinghouse, won the bid to light up the entire exposition using AC power. This victory demonstrated the power and safety of AC electricity on a grand scale and helped shift public opinion in Tesla's favor. It also marked a historic moment in the fight for the future of electrical power. Still, despite his success, Tesla's life was far from easy. His financial struggles continued as he chased new ideas and inventions that no one could understand, yet. One of his most curious predictions was his belief in the future of wireless power. Tesla thought that one day, we would be able to send power without wires, across vast distances. This idea seemed more like science fiction than reality, but Tesla never wavered in his belief. In 1901, Tesla began work on his dream project, the Wardenclyffe Tower. It was a massive structure designed to transmit wireless power across the world. He envisioned a future where everyone could access energy freely, without needing wires or fuel. People could draw power from the air itself, Tesla believed. He built the tower on Long Island, New York, but his project was cut short due to financial problems and a lack of support. The Wardenclyffe Tower was never completed, and Tesla's dream of wireless power was never realized in his lifetime. Yet, despite these setbacks, Tesla's belief in a wireless future remained. Even in his later years, when he was living in poverty, he was still working on new ideas. He believed that technology could break the boundaries of the physical world. That was the vision that led him to predict a future that seemed utterly impossible at the time. He didn't just foresee wireless electricity. He foresaw a world where communication would transcend physical boundaries. His predictions about wireless communication, once considered fantasy, became a reality a few decades after his death. By the time the smartphone was invented in the 21st century, Tesla's dreams of wireless communication were no longer dreams at all. His ideas were so far ahead of their time that it's hard to believe he was working on them in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Tesla's ability to see the world in ways no one else could is what made him such a unique figure in history. He didn't just invent things, he shaped the future. And while many of his predictions seemed impossible in his time, they have since become the foundation of our modern technological world. You continue reading, captivated by Tesla's journey. As the years pass, his visions seem to grow even bolder. He no longer just predicts new technologies, he's envisioning entire systems that will change the fabric of society. Tesla's later years are filled with dreams of global transformation, but also marked by isolation and disillusionment. Despite his incredible intellect and groundbreaking discoveries, the world failed to fully appreciate him in his lifetime. One of Tesla's most extraordinary ideas was his vision of global wireless communication. He believed that, in the future, humans would be able to communicate with one another without the need for wires or physical connections. He imagined a time when people could talk to each other across continents, instantly, through the air. This concept was completely ahead of its time, long before the advent of the Internet, smartphones, or the concept of Wi-Fi. In 1904, Tesla published an article titled, "The Transmission of Power Without Wires," where he described his idea of sending electrical power through the earth, allowing people to access it from anywhere. But again, the world wasn't ready for his ideas. Tesla's theories about wireless communication and energy transmission were laughed off as unrealistic. But, in his mind, he saw a future where his vision would be realized. Tesla's obsession with wireless energy continued throughout his life. In fact, he believed that it could be used not just for communication or power, but for something far more profound, a universal connection between all living beings. He spoke of cosmic energy, the idea that energy flows through everything, and that the Earth itself is a dynamic system of energy. He imagined that humans could harness this energy to connect with each other on a deeper, almost spiritual level. This idea of universal connection through energy fascinated Tesla. He was convinced that the future of humanity depended on harnessing energy from the Earth itself, creating a system where electricity would be freely available to everyone. But, as always, Tesla's bold visions faced practical barriers. Lack of funding, skepticism from the scientific community, and the growing dominance of industrial giants like Edison and J.P. Morgan made it almost impossible for Tesla to turn his dreams into reality. By the time World War I started in 1914, Tesla's fame had faded. He was no longer the celebrated genius he once was. In fact, many of his patents were being overshadowed by newer, more practical inventions. His ideas about wireless power and communication were dismissed as fantasies, and his financial struggles worsened. Tesla, who had once dined with the great minds of his time, now found himself living in near poverty, largely ignored by the world he had once envisioned transforming. But even as his life fell into decline, Tesla's mind remained sharp. In 1934, he claimed that the world was on the verge of discovering a new form of energy, a death ray that could be used for defense. The death ray was one of his more mysterious inventions, and though it has been the subject of much speculation, it is unclear whether he truly invented it or whether it was simply another one of his far-reaching ideas. Despite the world's indifference to him, Tesla continued to predict the future. In fact, some of his later writings have revealed his deep understanding of global communication networks and even remote control technology, ideas that were incredibly advanced for his time. It is clear that Tesla had an uncanny ability to see beyond the present, anticipating technologies and systems that would not come to fruition until decades later. In the years following his death, many of Tesla's ideas, which were dismissed as the ramblings of an eccentric mind, were proven to be visionary. The very technologies he had foreseen, wireless communication, radio waves, and even the development of the Internet, have since transformed the way we live and connect. As we look at the modern world of smartphones, satellite communication, and wireless energy transmission, it's hard not to see the marks of Tesla's influence. The most incredible thing about Tesla's predictions is not just that they came true, but the way he envisioned them. Tesla didn't just see technology as a way to improve life, he saw it as a force for global transformation. His hope was that technology would unite humanity, connecting people across the world, sharing knowledge and resources freely. This idea, though dismissed by many at the time, is the foundation of what we now call the global information network. As you continue reading, you can't help but wonder how many more of Tesla's ideas remain hidden, waiting for the right time to be rediscovered. What other aspects of his genius were simply too advanced for his time? Could there be more secrets locked in his old notebooks, ideas that will change the world once again, just like his wireless energy and communication systems? The years pass, and Tesla's name begins to regain the recognition it once had. After decades of being overshadowed by other inventors and innovators, there is finally a renewed interest in his work. Scientists, engineers, and entrepreneurs begin to revisit his old blueprints and patents, realizing just how far ahead of his time Tesla truly was. In the 21st century, Tesla's influence on technology is undeniable. His theories about wireless communication and energy transmission are now the foundation for the modern wireless world. Mobile phones, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and satellite communications are all practical applications of ideas Tesla dreamed about over 100 years ago. But beyond these everyday technologies, his vision for the future continues to inspire innovations we have yet to see. One of the most remarkable aspects of Tesla's predictions was his belief in sustainable energy. Long before the modern environmental movement, Tesla argued that harnessing natural resources like solar power and wind energy could change the world. He envisioned a world where energy was clean, abundant, and free for everyone, an idea that many in the 19th century thought was impossible. Yet today, we are beginning to see his dreams come true with the rise of renewable energy technologies. Solar panels, wind turbines, and even the push for electric vehicles are all part of the legacy Tesla left behind. Tesla's predictions about renewable energy didn't stop at just the technologies themselves. He also foresaw a future where humanity's relationship with nature would change. He believed that technology could work hand in hand with the environment, creating a symbiotic relationship where people lived in harmony with the earth. His early interest in environmentalism, paired with his vision of energy abundance, made him one of the first pioneers to think about sustainability on a global scale. Though Tesla did not live to see the full realization of his dreams, his influence continues to grow. His legacy is not just in the inventions he left behind but in the way he challenged the world to think differently. He believed that the future was not something to be feared, but something to be created. It's this forward-thinking mindset that still inspires many of today's most groundbreaking technological advancements. Even more intriguing is how Tesla's vision was intertwined with humanity's potential. He often spoke about the connection between science, technology, and the human spirit. In his mind, the two were inseparable. He didn't just want to improve life with his inventions, he wanted to elevate humanity itself. This was most evident in his later years, when he dreamed of creating a machine that could allow people to tap into their spiritual consciousness through the use of sound and light. Though he never built such a device, his ideas pointed to a future where technology could not only improve the material world but also expand the human experience. Tesla's story is more than just the tale of an inventor who predicted the future. It's about a man who saw the potential for humanity to evolve in ways that most of us couldn't even imagine. His unrelenting curiosity and boundless imagination led him to explore the deepest questions of existence: how can we live in harmony with nature? How can technology help elevate our minds, bodies, and spirits? These are the kinds of questions that Tesla's legacy continues to ask, even today. As you think about Tesla's life and work, you start to reflect on your own relationship with technology. What if you could contribute to a future where technology serves to connect people, elevate minds, and help protect the planet? The possibilities are endless, and in some ways, we are just beginning to unlock the potential that Tesla so passionately envisioned. His work serves as a reminder that the future is not something that simply happens, it's something that we create. It's impossible to predict exactly what the next 100 years will look like. But if there's one thing Tesla's life has taught us, it's that innovation is limitless. There will always be new ideas, new inventions, and new ways to connect with the world around us. But it's also important to remember that these innovations should serve a greater purpose, just as Tesla envisioned, a world where technology is used to help us live better, more connected, and more sustainable lives. And so, as you close the final pages of Tesla's story, you realize something important: Tesla's predictions weren't just about the future of technology, they were about the future of humanity itself. His genius lay not only in his inventions but in his belief that technology should serve the higher good of humanity. He saw a world where technology was used to uplift us, to connect us, and to help us build a better, more sustainable world for future generations. How do you think Tesla would feel if he could see how his ideas have shaped the world today? What future invention do you think he would be most excited about? Thank you for listening.